Trump was at MENA. He came over to Abu Dhabi to speak at MENA. They are definitely keyed in. And I know that they had a bunch of meetings. And then Eric Trump actually went to Saudi after. They announced a big real estate deal there, but I know that they're talking Bitcoin. So I think that could play in, if the Trump family is aware of how much the UAE is in the process of acquiring, let's hope that they're, shooting for more.
I think his surrounding group, and especially, his sons, understand Bitcoin, but I question how much Trump actually understands Bitcoin, especially as he talks about, I think today he was talking about Solana and Ripple, and he created his own coin.
I think it's actually fair to say, with all due respect to our incoming president, that, like, what does Trump deeply understand, right? And it's, you know what? But he's got a big stick. Yeah.
But you could argue
but that's his niche too.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like,
That's
I would
his
say
expertise.
that, he kind of talks out of his ass a little bit, but he's saying the right stuff with his ass talking.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But more importantly, it's the people that he's putting in these positions
Exactly.
are incredibly intelligent. And, sometimes, like, for example, even myself, I don't know shit about media. I don't know anything about this. I could never in a million years make all this stuff. I don't even know how this microphone works. Without Paul, like, doing all this stuff, like, I know what I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, this is cool and great, and we're having a great conversation here. But, like, you gotta have people that are experts in their field, and I feel Trump's doing a really good job of that, of putting the right people in the right places that really know what the hell they're doing.
that's, in my opinion, that is the most tangible that's why I'm most confident in this, like, bullish macro setup as it pertains to Bitcoin. Not just because Trump is saying stuff, it's because the people that he is putting there, into these positions, like, know what's up.
Yeah, I was really impressed. So I agree with you that I don't think that Trump himself has a deep understanding of Bitcoin. It's clear from the things that he says, but the people that he's putting in place are the right people. We're getting good people who do have a better understanding. And also, even Eric Trump in Abu Dhabi, I was really impressed with some of the things that he said and the journey of awareness just from a year ago to the way that they discuss Bitcoin. It's clear that they're learning.
Which one of you guys were at I think it was 2 or 3 years ago with RFK Jr. at the Bitcoin conference for, like, to see his growth from, like, his first speech to his second speech? It's like, Trump hasn't had his second speech yet about the topic, right? So I really saw, like, when RFK Jr. spoke at the recent conference, it was like, wow, he really gets it.
Yeah.
And the first speech was, like, good, kind of like Trump's speech was, like, kind of good. Like, he didn't really fully get everything, but, like, you can really see that growth as a Bitcoiner. And I'm sure we've all experienced, like, I learn new things about Bitcoin almost every day. Still, even, it's like this onion. You just keep peeling back the layers, and it's like, holy shit. Nobody's journey's ever done.
Yeah, and the more time you're in the game,
There you go.
it's like you just become more knowledgeable, and it's an infectious rabbit hole because you kind of, like, look for the gotcha almost, and there's, like, there is no gotcha kind of thing, and it's a timeless quest for the gotcha. So you're just gonna literally be in the game forever, and thereby you have significantly more knowledge. We talked about it when we spoke earlier. It's like, this is adoption curve. You can't adopt something unless you're educated on it. And you can't be educated on something unless you're aware of it, right? So he's probably in, like, the mid-tier of, like, aware and educated right now. When he becomes really educated and he gets to, like, adoption stage, and it's not just a political talking point, it's a fundamental belief where he understands the strategic, implications.
The game theory, all that.
Then it's like, oh my God, you can't even imagine how bullish that is.
And for just individual and institutional adoption, like, a big reason why I think a lot of people haven't invested was the threat of government intervention. But if you have a government who's putting it on their balance sheet, you eliminate that threat completely. And then I think that there's going to be just so many people coming into the space after that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Today's going to be one of the great ones. What is Paul Grewal talking about here?
Wayne Gretzky.
Ah, there we go. Super cycle. That's what I said on our earlier. Crypto ball, SEC leadership change, crypto president, Chamath Palihapitiya. The Supreme Court unanimously upholds a TikTok ban that was passed by a large bipartisan majority. I'll say the quiet part out loud. The only way both of these outlier events could have happened is if the U.S. determined that TikTok was spyware for a foreign actor. That's very interesting. This is an interesting topic. What do you guys have on this? Anyone got a strong opinion on this?
I do.
Let's hear it, Michelle. Let's hear it.
People
Put
get
it out there.
mad. People are mad at me for this opinion because I actually
No,
support the ban.
Have your opinion.
I support the ban, and the reason for that is the code leaked during
Mm-hmm.
COVID. Some of the code leaked, and it was profoundly disturbing, the level of surveillance that's
Mm-hmm.
happening. And straight up, I'm very familiar with China, how China works. I spent
Mm-hmm.
time in China. I have a business visa to China. I have been to Beijing. I've been minded by, I understand China pretty well. And
Ma?
I do not speak Mandarin.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Look at
oh.
that.
Scott with the Mandarin.
Okay.
The drop.
So wait, I want to know if you agree or disagree with this.
I don't even
So-
have TikTok, so I don't know much about it. but-
Well, when you download TikTok, you're giving it full permissions to your entire phone, and it maps everywhere that you go. Like it'll create a blueprint of your house, any building that you're ever in. It's generating blueprints. All that data is going back to the CCP. It gives full and complete access to your entire phone. It's reading all of your messages.
It's very creepy.
Trump actually I don't know if it's 2020 or 2021, they banned TikTok from government devices because this code leaked and they saw the level of surveillance that was happening. And they were like, we cannot allow a device with TikTok on it into a government building, which I think you would never let someone come in and wiretap or, measure and create blueprints. You would never, ever allow any of this to happen in the physical sense. But it gets really obfuscated when it gets put into a little app, into a few lines of code, and it's
Yeah,
on
they're
our
hiding
phone and it's fun. So I actually think that all of this nuanced debate back and forth about like the algorithm and kids and freedom and all of that, I don't give a shit about any of that. It's spyware. All of the data goes directly to CCP, and we shouldn't be having it.
Okay, unpacking it, I kind of see two factors here. One, there's like the tech side of this, so that the tech can do that. And then I'm not knowledgeable enough about this, but like, is that an inevitability of tech functionality? And it's just like, that's the fucking way it's going to be. And then the second part of it is the recipient of that data, right? So like, I think if you combine both of these and then you're okay, well, China is getting all that information.
Right.
Like if you can't, this is going to, I'm kind of just posing this to look at it. Like if that is how tech is just like going to function, that's a problem in and of itself, but it's not necessarily an isolated technical, challenge to TikTok. It's more that like, we're just feeding China all this, stuff. So maybe it's like, I see the larger issue here is just like the way that China gets to, have their cake and eat it too, but then we don't have the ability to operate
Reciprocity.
any of our tech
Right.
within their borders.
I
Right?
think that's the big overarching thing. One
Yeah.
of the main points of all this is the idea of reciprocity, right? Like we allow their social media apps, all their stuff in America, but then X can't be there, Facebook can't be there. None of our technology can be there for them. So it's this idea of reciprocity. And I think that ultimately they fail majorly at that. So there's one aspect. The other aspect.
Sorry. Well, I think there's a reason they said that it could be divested. So if it became American owned, then it would be fine.
They don't
But
want to do that.
They will not allow for that.
At any price, they
Right.
do not want to do that.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
why would that be? My thought is exactly what Michelle said, which is like, there's 100 million people, 200 million, 300 million people in the U.S., probably 100 million plus use TikTok. Like for 99.99% of those people, like who gives a fuck what your house looks like for those, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
But for those crucial people, if you
Right.
can turn that thing on and listen to what they're talking about in that room, or know where this senator or this person or this, vice president, whoever is at, that's extremely powerful for, you know, a communist style authoritarian, superpower, right? Like, and they do not want to, like, at any cost, they're not willing to sell it. So that is in and of itself extremely suspect. But at the end of the day, what should the government's role actually be? In my mind, it's, protecting the people. The protection is like one of their roles that they actually should have. So I'm kind of like torn on this.